studio by James Creedon. Hello, James.
Evening, Claire.
You're going to start us off with one of our top stories there, the nomination of Jean-Claude Juncker as President of the European Commission.
That's right, and in particular the stance that David Cameron took, which has got an awful lot of media attention. Some nice photographs being picked up by Reuters and others to sort of try to sum up the awkward position that he found himself in, essentially taking a lone stand amongst the EU 27 against the decision to nominate Jean-Claude Juncker, along with the quite far-right government of Hungary. So that's one photo chosen by Reuters. I quite like that.
26-2 is not a good scoreline.
It definitely isn't. It definitely is not. I like this cartoon as well, showing him sort of, what would you say, going it alone as well, and opposing Mr. Juncker right to the end. Now, he wasn't alone. I mean, he did this supposedly on the surface of things, at least for ideological reasons, not agreeing with Juncker's quite federalist stance on the EU's future. But the Daily Telegraph, sometimes dubbed the Daily Tory Graph, did indeed row in behind David Cameron with this headline today, with more of a personal motivation for not backing Mr. Juncker. An alleged drinking problem, and they go on to report, according to sources, maybe I shouldn't even be repeating this stuff, but that
we're
one
presuming
diplomat,
they had it legal, James.
Right, we're hoping they did. One senior diplomatic source has said that Mr. Juncker likes a bit of cognac for breakfast, and apparently he chain smoked his way through a series of meetings on Thursday and disclosed that he is attempting to get the rules changed for the Commission buildings in Brussels so that he can smoke. So they're painting the picture of quite the party animal, who perhaps doesn't have the lifestyle that would match quite such a serious job. In any case, just a couple of other items on that. The New Statesman say that while Mr. Cameron was trying to make this look like a glorious defeat, casting himself as the plucky Brit who stood alone, that this is simply not the truth. He was hoping, when he took the stance a number of weeks ago, that Angela Merkel and others would row in behind him. That didn't happen. So from their point of view, and indeed from several other media's point of view, he looks quite lonely and indeed humiliated.
He didn't sell it very well, I think.
No.
Next on to the World Cup, James. Big celebrations here in Paris last night of Algeria qualified for the final 16.
That's right. All you need to do is type Algérie into French Twitter, or indeed Barbès, Rochechouart or Champs-Élysées, and you get pictures such as this. Very vocal and passionate celebrations across the French capital and indeed across France last night, with such a big Franco-Algerian population. Now, some getting a bit funny on social media, saying all of these demonstrations at Barbès, Rochechouart, which is a district with a lot of Algerian supporters living nearby in the north of Paris. Complete craziness in Barbès after the designation of Juncker as Commission President. I actually don't think that that's what the Algerian fans were out.
I doubt they'd be that motivated.
No, they're not. They're not that. They're more interested in the football at the moment, I think. A sudden wave of affection towards Algeria and Ukraine as it eliminates Russia from the World Cup. So allegedly, Ukrainians, some at least, rather pleased about that. It did give some far-right hacks on social media and elsewhere a chance to criticise the disruptive noise of these fans, or indeed immigrants as they were being termed by some on social media. And this isn't the first time, indeed, when Algeria beat South Korea last Sunday. There was quite a degree of misinformation on social media. Now, while there were incidents which led to arrests, etc., there were reports on social media of a church in Lyon being in flames. That was simply and completely not true.
Showing a shady element creeping in there. Will you have a map for us next,
yes,
I believe, showing which countries are most spoken about on French TV news? Where exactly in the world are French people interested in?
Well, they're interested in the United States of America, Claire, and I'm guessing that a lot of that, they have lots of different analysis or reasons behind why countries get more attention than others in this piece in Télérama magazine. But essentially, while big news stories may put the camera on certain countries, for example, Mali and Syria within the past year, a lot of it, according to this report, is down to a lack of funds to send reporters overseas. 20% cut in the budget at TF1 news channel and Arte in 2010. Regarding sending people abroad to cover international news stories. So that would partly explain why there is a disparity in terms of coverage. For example, this, by the way, is dealing with the 6 top terrestrial channels that have news coverage in France. And half European countries don't feature it barely at all on this map. Africa is reduced to 11 countries out of 54. So quite a lot of disparity. One reason that wasn't mentioned in this report, but which I think obviously must play a big role, is news agencies and the English language. And indeed, there would be a bias amongst English language news agencies for stories at home. And that bias, I think, is absorbed by French news coverage because of English being the first foreign language in French newsrooms.
We just hope it's not a diet of Hollywood celeb news that's being ingested, James.
Not just that. I think there's other stuff too.
James Creedon, thanks for bringing us Media Watch. Time for Focus now here on France 24, and we meet the descendant